Welcome everybody to Lil Talk with Lil Joey. I have an awesome and special guest here from the ATL, the one, the only, the businessman, OJ Rosé. How is it going, man?
We live in, man. Just left camp, just left the gym about an hour and a half ago, eating up and recharging for the next day.
Yeah, man. You got a big fight ahead of you. And your last fight, I did want to talk about that. A lot of people say that you won that fight and that you deserve to get that win. And kind of what was going through your head when they read out that decision?
Man, I remember like it was yesterday. First judge said it was a draw. Second judge said 3-1, and the other one said 4-0. Those are ridiculous scorecards. It was not that far from margin, but I did lose the fight. I lost the fight 100%.
Yeah, man. And I wanted to ask, is that a fight that you definitely want to run back, or is it something like quickly, or is it something you see down the line?
I believe that once I beat Rak-Su and once Gabe beats AC in Brazil, we're running back for the title fight, 175, sometime either April, May, you know?
That would be dope. Yeah. I think it's so cool, seeing the build up from your debut against, an MMA legend's son, Kimbo Slice Jr. And, ever since then, you've kind of been a fan favorite, especially in the small creator scene. So how does it feel to have that kind of rise on this kind of platform?
It's a blessing, Misfits is mainly made for like the big stars with the big amounts of followers, but I'm a small creator, like you said. I have about 20K on YouTube, 400K, 500K on TikTok. I'm not the biggest person on social media, but I have a platform now. It's a blessing to be here, so I'm thankful for all that.
Talk about like you're kind of being still connected to the small creator scene because you showed up for Breakout and you helped those guys out a lot as well. And I believe that was after the was that after the
Count
Callum fight?
after the
Y-
count fight, yes.
Yeah, so you were coming off a hot win. And how was that, working with them and being able to kind of work with a smaller promotion like that?
They're local, so I had to show out. We all start somewhere. I came from nothing just like they are, so they want to be at Memphis one day. I had to show represent, let them know that's possible. I'm just an average guy. I'm a human being just like them, so anybody can make it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talk to me about your training recently for this Ashley Rak-Su fight. I mean, he seems ready, he seems amped up and ready to kind of prove himself to not only just the fans but to the rest of the competition in the scene. So how's training been for his kind of style of fighting?
It's a similar camp to Gabe because they're both very tall and jab heavy fighters. So similar camp, working on head movement, working on defense, working on pressure. It's gonna be a war though. Stay tuned.
And I, I see a lot of these fighters, training absolutely hard, and you had a size disadvantage in your last fight, and then Ashley had a size advantage in his last fight. So it's interesting, you have these kind of matchups, and do you find yourself in that ring feeling not less confident, but do you see yourself, feeling in trouble a lot in the ring, or do you feel very comfortable doing that stuff?
I've been fighting my whole life. It may not have been boxing, but I've always been in a fight of some kind. My channel had lots of street fights, lots of just boxing videos, period. So I know how to fight. I've been in trouble before in a fight. I know I got out of trouble. So I'm very confident. And I have a good coach behind me, Coach Money Mark, Coach Barry, 38 wins behind them. So it's going to be something. Trust.
I'm excited for the fight and bringing it back to your channel and kind of how you started. You've had the pillow fight content, and I don't I've tagged you in it. I know you like the comment about the pillow fighting championships. Have you seen that? Have you been able to watch any of those fights?
Yes, I was in talks to be on their card a long time ago, but I don't think they're too serious about it. They just want some pro fighters on their cards.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was because it's starting to like grow quite a bit, and I remember, there are some YouTubers, and I thought of you. You was the first one that I kind of thought about when that got brought up. So, I thought that was really cool and kind of funny. And there's been a lot of criticism with the card of Misfits 12. With the lack of promotion from a lot of people. And do you find that to be a big issue? And what's your opinion on that criticism?
Yeah, I think YouTube boxing at one point was storyline based, was like, there's actual beefs or people were calling each other out on Twitter, YouTube, things like that. Now it's like there's so many cards that pe- the fights are no longer based on that. It's just like, oh, I want to fight you, I want to fight others, you know what I'm saying? So it's changed a lot, but Misfits going to be here for a very long time, and it's going to have to go like that. Not everybody's going to have a beef. Not everyone's going to have a storyline, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people I think a lot of people get confused between, promotion and content, and promotion is promotion, but creating your own kind of content is a whole different thing. And I think there's there's both sides of the coin. There's people that promote, like you and Ashley, and AJ's been doing a great job as well with that. But then there's the silent part of the card that you don't see a lot of promotion from. I haven't heard a lot from DTG. I haven't heard from Rak-Su. I forgot the other guy's name.
Miles.
Miles, yes. I haven't heard a lot from Miles. I haven't heard, you know, most. He's been doing a lot of promotion. Fez has been doing promotion. I haven't heard a lot from Ben Williams either. So it's like it's a very mixed card, and so I think a lot of people get confused about whether these people are actually promoting or whether it's content, and some of them are posting content. So is that something you've kind of gotten used to, seeing a lot more training and less being able to put time into content?
Well, I understand it because I've been in about 4 or 5 Misfits cards now, including this one. So, like, after a long day of camp, getting beat up and sparring, you don't want to make content. You want to go home and take a nap. So I get it, you know. I used to be a guy like when I get a Misfits, I'll definitely make my content, I'll promote. But now that I'm out here, like, I understand why people do it, don't do it as much, you know. It's not easy, but things gonna change eventually. I understand it.
I wanted to ask you about, starting it, getting into boxing. How did that kind of originate, and was boxing or fighting always an interest of yours?
I wouldn't say always, but my content had lots of boxing videos, lots of fighting videos. I never said, oh, one day I'm gonna be a pro fighter, but look what happened. Look where I'm at now. You know, we're in the works. But yeah, I've always liked to fight. I've always been a natural fighter. I'm an athlete, period. So it's natural to me. It's easy to me. But fighting, it just came across. It just came across the cards, and here we are.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think, well, it's funny because there's a lot of stories where people really weren't expecting to kind of be in the boxing scene, but yeah, and it's cool seeing your story about that, because you've become such like a not only a fan favorite, but just like a very good and technically sound boxer. So how does it feel being, one of the people in the scene that has that kind of skill that makes you look like a seasoned pro?
It's a blessing, you know. I have a good team behind me, Coach Money Mark, like I said before. For that Kimbo fight, I don't know if you watched the IFL fight. My hands
Yeah.
were by my waist, chin was in the air. I was not where I was for the Kimbo fight. So in that short span of about 2 months or 1.5 months, you got me right. And I appreciate that because I could have got knocked out if I was just going back to my old ways. But, you know, boxing is a different sport. It's not track and field. It's not football. You get hurt in there. You don't want to work out. You want to go home and sleep, but you got to show up every day to camp and do what you got to do. It's all mental, honestly. So
Yeah, and what did you find it hard, at first, starting off these camps, did you find it hard having that mentality, or have you always been, a drive and, continue to keep going?
I've always had a drive, but boxing is a different breed. Like every day I'm thinking about, damn, am I still doing this? Like when you're running 4 miles a day, you're just going there and jogging in place on a treadmill, like you're thinking to yourself, like, what am I doing? But you gotta do it. It's part of the game. It's necessary. It's in the resume, you know?
Absolutely. And if you had a message to Ashley Raxey right now, what would be your message?
I'll say prepare for now. Let me not say that because it's not gonna be a war. He says it's gonna be a war. It won't be. It'll be a clinical boxing, it'll be a boxing clinic. It'll be I'm not boxing a shorter fighter over a tall fighter. You're gonna like it, trust.
Let's go. Let's go.
Trust.
Thank you so much for coming on, OJ. I know you're a very busy guy, but I appreciate you showing out for, not only for Misfits, but for the small creator community as well. We appreciate you. And obviously I'm a big fan of yours, so I hope you get the win, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.